top left, the Startail Zerg player. He is
Startail Curious.
Curious finds himself in an interesting position here. In Heart of the Swarm so far, he actually won in offline tournaments not a single game against Korean Protoss players. He lost against all of them, only won against foreigners, and he also lost against Super here, who's he gonna face today later on. But the Protoss to the bottom right now, it's not Super, it's the second Protoss in the group. It is.
SK Telecom T1, Paralyze.
And Paralyze, looking at his record against Protoss in Heart of the Swarm, is a player who didn't lose a single best of 3 against ESF players just yet. He won against Yu-Gi-Oh! And he also won against Boom Boom. The only best of 3 against Zerg that he lost was against Su, a fellow Casper player. So Paralyze now has to prove himself here. He qualified for Code A for the first time and then went all the way, but was not able to get into Code S right away.
Yeah, very true. And you can see here, Probe doing a little bit of harassment. He goes full first.
Yeah. Saw a little bit of a cheerful here as well. Fishsticks is currently in Korea for Twitch TV, of course, because of the WCS that we have here at the weekend, the Season 1 finals.
Yeah, Fishsticks coming down here, really cool guy, and you know, I like his ID. Even though Fishsticks, when I was in elementary school, was oftentimes a food that I really did not like to eat.
Every single time I see his nickname, I have to think about Captain Iglo.
Yeah, what?
You don't have that brand in the US?
Well,
okay.
what is that? Captain Neglo?
Captain Iglo.
Iglo.
Captain Iglo. You don't know that?
No, but
might be a European thing. I don't know.
Is it a fish sticks company? I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought, you know, it might just be the case. You think about Captain Iglo, even though it's not a fish sticks brand, because he looks like him.
No. It was just adorable how he went like, yeah, and then a second pause, and you're like, what?
I wanted to go along with it, but
no, I can guarantee you that all the Europeans amongst our viewers will definitely know what I'm talking about.
Well, you know, pirates, they need their fish sticks.
It's not really a pirate, it's more like the nice guy, you know?
So he's just the captain of what?
Well, it's just his name. I guess like Captain Iglo, man. It's Captain Iglo. Everyone knows Captain Iglo.
Yeah, but I mean, to be a captain, you've got to have something you're the captain of, right? So
He probably has a ship somewhere.
I guess so. Maybe he's captain of the cheerleading squad. Who knows?
Doesn't sound like a bad job to me.
Oh, see, that's the thing. People say things about cheerleading squad captains or guys, but you know, I mean, not too bad. That Overlord has got a painful experience going on right now, but he's following Curious's orders here.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I don't like this, but I guess I will sacrifice myself.
Maybe he's into it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see that really happening. It's an Overlord on a stick here. Coming back to the fish sticks.
Right.
But we have the double hatch now for Curious, of course. He saw that his opponent started with the Forge opening here. Paralyzed going the more traditional way in this matchup, and therefore Curious dropping the third hatch here without any problems at all. He knows that there's no early timing that Paralyzed can hit here to take him down.
Yeah, absolutely the case. Curious in some good scouting information here. We'll also spot the probe. He's not going to be able to deny the scout of the third base, but at the very least, he will know where it's coming from. I mean, they can chase it down.
Yeah, we have the Mothership Core now being built in the main base of the Protoss player, and the one thing that, of course, Curious has to be careful about is that he needs a Roach Warren at some point. If there is a Forge opening, you always run the risk of the Protoss player being aggressive with the +1 attack upgrade. The Zerglings are there to spot that. Also, the Overlord that we saw earlier pinned on that pillar thingy, whatever you want to call it. But there's already the +1 attack upgrade on the production tab, so he should get the Roach Warren roughly at 7 minutes, 7:20, 7:30, along those lines.
He's making 10 Zerglings too, and that's going to help him against this pressure that he's facing a little bit directly right now. He's already seen this with his Overlord. That Overlord on the right side of the map is so important, just seeing the edge of this push coming. And so now he can go and try to surround it. And it looks like we're going to have Paralyzed go into a very fast third nexus. At least he's starting to indicate that with his pylon. But the Overlord, again, there to spot it.
Yeah, and so far, you know, we have the Zerglings still on the map here, just trying to scout a little bit. Speed has not been started. We have not really a lot of gas. We actually have no gas so far for Curious. He dropped those extractors, but he doesn't harvest yet. A great surround here on the Stalker. Does he get it? Oh, wow, he just missed it.
I think he's going to use the Time Warp instead, though, since he has the second Stalker here now.
You know, it actually looked like he had a close surround on that Stalker. Curious definitely didn't play Warcraft. He would know how to close such a gap in a second if he did.
Yeah, that Stalker surrounded by butter, maybe. Look at this. He's hiding 3 gateways, but he's hiding them in what he doesn't know, but he's hiding them in plain sight. Curious can actually see those. If he sends that Overlord just a little bit to the right, this is an all-in that we're seeing Paralyze. 7 gateways, and he's going to have +1 in just a second.
This is such an interesting build that he's using here. The positioning is very interesting, something that I've never seen before, but he's going all out with this.
He's going into Lair. Curious is with no Roachborn.
Yeah.
This is going to kill him.
8 minutes into the game, the Roachborn is so late here. He's just now dropping it, and he's droning up behind that. It's like he has no idea what's happening. He assumes there's a third base. He thinks that those gateways are just the wall for the third.
Exactly. He doesn't go to check. And this is actually really, really smart by Paralyze. Definitely intentionally here, the way he hides those gateways. And the Warpins are going to begin. The pylon is ready. And oh, is Curious and a world of hurt. His Roachborn still not even complete. His Zergling speed is just now starting. I don't see any way he can hold this, Calder.
He cannot hold this. There's no way. He droned up the entire time. He actually doesn't have anything here. He has a bit of a bank that he can use to get a few roaches out, but he should not be able to save this third base. Not by a long shot.
Yeah. Oh, Time Warp goes down on the Queens too. They actually move backwards when they're underneath that. And this is just deadly. Paralyze has so much production capabilities, and even though the roaches are on the way, he's going to lose his Nexus or his hatchery, and all he needs to do now is warp in Stalkers.
Yeah, an absolute misread here by Curious. He did not realize what was happening, and I cannot believe that he didn't at least try to get a few roaches out a bit earlier and drop that Roachborn. He really seemed to assume that there was only a third base very fast with a wall, and that's all there's to it. But as you can see right now, no chance of saving the third base. All those drones are now backed into a corner. The Zealots doing damage, the Stalker's backing them up. There is just no hope for Curious.
Yeah, no way, and more pylons down for Paralyzed. He's actually not even using them for some reason. He definitely could warp more Stalkers. Now off-screen, 7 Stalkers being warped in as we speak. And there's just so much here. He didn't lose any of his Zealots, and now it's only Stalker after Stalker coming in. The Zealots tank the damage here.
Everything is just going down here. All the Overlords at the front could be sniped, and then he's even supply blocked.
Yeah, this is Curious going to take an early deficit here, and Paralyze just hugging him with the Stalkers even, getting a little bit too far forward actually.
Yeah, we have Curious just losing everything here. I mean, the third is already down, now he's losing the Evolution Chamber. The Roaches are still in the position, but just the amount of harvesters that he already lost. The Worker Supply currently at 39 to 49 in favor of the Protoss player. It's 2 bases against 2.
He's got the Immortals on the way, yeah, as you're
exactly.
saying.
Immortals are coming in now as well. Even if he doesn't take down the Natural right away, his position is amazing.
He's just microing very well, picks away at the hatchery a little bit, doesn't want to get surrounded by these drones, but he can actually just fight them almost at this point.
Yeah.
Link speed is done now.
Every drone that dies here is another slap in Curious' face, and he knows it. His drone count is down to 33, he's not even mining a lot anymore. Now those, the Zealots come in, the reinforcements are always on the way. Paralyze is stomping Curious here.
Paralyze has paralyzed him, essentially, here.
Yeah, Curious is still fighting. He's producing what he can. He's really doing whatever he can, but he doesn't have the Queens anymore for the Injects and the Natural. He is running out of time here. He's completely on a clock. He has the lair tech, but that's kind of all that he has. And as you can see, the overwhelming amount of Protoss units is just too much for him to handle.
The way he's moving those Stalkers is even just trying to say, listen, man, get out of this game. You know, the Roaches here very low on hit points. They do hold on a little bit longer, but the next warp-in is going to finish him off.
He can push him back, that's fine, but the worst case scenario for Paralyze is that he has to get those Immortals over to the top left. With all the drones that he has killed, Curious will never be able to bounce back behind this. The economy is just way too good for Paralyze. But Curious at least is fighting. I mean, he's putting his heart in here.
Yeah, he is. He's starting to lose some of those Roaches that were low on hit points earlier. His micro was a lot better than Paralyze's in this. Paralyze just thought the game was over.
But the thing remains, we have the Immortals now at the bottom right, and this is not all that Paralyze has here. Curious in economy is so far behind his opponent. He's at 33 drones against 51 probes. The economy for Paralyze is amazing. There is just no follow-up for Curious here. He's fighting for his life, but the Protoss player is getting the +1 armor upgrade. He's getting the War Prism. And Curious is just on a clock here. The longer this draws out, the stronger Paralyze is actually going to get at home.
Yeah,
he has
+1 armor. Second wave, like you said, going to be a problem as well. He's just waiting for that War Prism.
Look at those Immortals that we have at the bottom right. Of course, they're defending the wall, but at the same time, what happens when they are up to the top left? The Roaches don't stand a chance anymore. They only can fight right now because a lot of the supply of Paralyze is actually at the bottom right, at the Natural. But once that War Prism comes in and brings them to the front, it's going to be over because there's just nothing that Curious has in his arsenal that can deal with them.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, He wants to make Lings to deal with that, but if he does that, then he doesn't have enough army for anything. He doesn't have the larva to produce a massive amount of Lings either.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that Curious Paralyzed just didn't walk them to the top left. I think he was afraid that he might run into some kind of run-by attempt with the Zerglings and then they get sniped, so he plays a little bit safer. But this is like the nail in the coffin now. The Immortals, they start here, and this is when Curious realizes what we already knew, because we have the perfect vision here that this game is over.
Yep. It is pretty over. He's even picking up sentries to micro them here. GG.
Once